Well, hi everyone. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, and you're listening to a live broadcast of the Dr. Laurie Davis Show, streaming right now at E360 TV, Self Worth the Missing Link Superstars Facebook page, and also our YouTube channel, Laurie Davis Show host. I was so amazed yesterday. I didn't realize that if I had a YouTube app on my television, I could click in there and there we are on the big screen. So if you have a YouTube app on your television, tune in there. Like how cool is that? On the big screen, right next to Dr. Phil and all the other ones out there. Also, too, we have started working on a talk show, which means that you, as our viewers, can call in. And I've put the number up there if you want to call in. It's 825-420-2011. I have my trusty phone here and we'll answer your call and everyone can hear you. So if that's something that you want to do, please feel free to do that. Okay, excellent. So today I thought, well, I'm starting to divide my shows up. I didn't realize until I looked at my past track record of doing radio shows and so on, and something I'd actually forgotten about. Isn't it amazing how you can do something that actually worked and then you forget about it? Yeah, whether that's a recipe or a way to do things. So anyway, I was looking at some of my old shows and I went, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that. That every show had a theme. So, for example, on Mondays, I would do Motivational Monday, and it would be all about inspiring and educating and motivating. And then on Tuesday, finance. And we did our first financial program yesterday with Ramin Modiri. So Tuesday is finance, and we'll be talking about money, bringing in some experts, and Ramin and I are co-hosting that show. And Wednesdays today is about wellness. And as we know, wellness comes in many, many packages. So on Wednesdays, we'd like to focus on wellness, which would be emotional wellness, physical, mental. I like to use the medicine wheel from our indigenous cultural people to balance my life. So the four quadrants include emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. And so Wednesdays is focused on wellness. And then Thursday, oh wow, I have interviewed celebrities, celebrity athletes, authors, CEOs, people who can mentor us and teach us what they know so we don't have to reinvent the wheel, is what I'm saying. So I'm always excited on Thursdays to do that. Sometimes I hook up with my friend Prince Fleet Easton in Palm Springs, and he's a performer, and he and I do what we call a movie review. So we'll pick a movie, like the last one we did was Elvis, and we talked about the characters and the parts they played and blah blah blah. So it was very cool that way as well. And I know that that's a lot of fun. And then on Fridays, it was scheduled to be a fun Friday. So I really want to be able to get back to that plan because it really worked and it was beautiful and it helped me to streamline who I would have to come in as a guest. You see what I mean? So this makes it all easier on Dr. Laurie. So we're okay with that. All right. Well, we're broadcasting live to you today from beautiful Drayton Valley, Alberta, Canada, where it's sunshiny and bright and beautiful. We are having amazing weather. Unlike my California friends, where they call it June gloom. I didn't know that. Rainy and cloudy and dark and cooler. Oh well, but the rest of the time we know we're talking about sunny California. And of course, out east right now, it's really cold and they're surviving those fires, and it's just all very I won't say interesting, but it's all very profound, I think, as to what's going on right now in our world. So I thought, well, what am I going to do today for wellness? Because I'm solo today. I won't always be solo, but I thought, what can I do? And then I went into my library and I found an old book. Oh my gosh, look at this. 100 Survival Secrets by Rich Hatch. How many of us remember Rich Hatch? You know, Rich Hatch was the very first winner on the very first episode of Survivor in 2000. That show has been on the air for 23 years. I don't think people realize that. But anyway, Rich Hatch was the first person to A, win $1 million. He lost 100 pounds, he said. How to make $1 million, lose 100 pounds, and just plain live happily ever after. Well, that sounds like a health plan to me. I don't know about you, but that sounds kind of good. And so we're just here today to talk about some of the things that Rich shared after his experience on Survivor. And because it's in a book and it's public information, we can share it. So that's really cool. And if you don't have that book, you might want to purchase it. It's a really nice layout of his experience with Survivor and what happened before, during, and after Survivor, because he took quite a few hits after he earned the $1 million. Because sometimes money brings problems, and we can talk about that next Tuesday when we do our finance program. So I thought I'd just start today. I won't get through them all today, but I thought, well, on Wellness Wednesdays, when I do not have a guest, we can talk about Rich Hatch and his survival techniques for wellness. Like, what's wrong with that? So, number one, he says, number one is happiness. Isn't that what we all want? We want inner peace. We want to be happy. We don't want to be all stressed out. We don't want all those toxic things going on in our life. And he said, make your own happiness your number one priority. Because if you don't, nobody else will. And we have a product. We have a product called 21 Days to Happiness, Joy, and Inner Peace. And it's a self-directed product where you get the workbook, and every day for 21 days, you do the activities, you do the exercises, and the next thing you know, you're actually feeling better about yourself. And so we highly recommend that. So happiness, make happiness your goal. Make it your number one priority. Well, thank you, Rich, for that. And I don't know how much you know about Rich, but he's had a very complicated life, a very challenging life, but he came out on top after 39 days in episode 1 of The Survivor. And I think that's quite an accomplishment. I don't think it, I know it. I couldn't go there. I'd be dead in 2 hours if I found out there was no shower or I couldn't do my hair, really. Okay, number 2. Oh, are you ready for this? He says, to be healthy, you need to quit your pathetic job. Ooh, let's see what he has to say about that. Did you know that 95% plus of people who have a job hate their job? It's only a very small margin of people who actually love what they do. So he said, I thought this was kind of personal, but it is personal. He said, jobs and I don't get along. Too many people focus their efforts on getting the job, the kind of job they are supposed to want. Like if you had parents that said, when you grow up, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, you should be a stockbroker, you should be an internet programmer. Instead of saying, you need to grow up and pursue your gifts, your talents, and your passions. Woo! Your happiness should be what you're constantly striving for as an individual, not an 80-hour-a-week job in a cubicle and a small paycheck. That's not going to cut it. Maybe you're saying you have kids, or you've got a mortgage, or you've got bills, so you cannot be thinking about yourself. Then don't quit your job this second or this moment, but make it a point to find time to do something that makes you happy, that could actually lead to a new career or a new source of income. Maybe you love to paint and you could turn your painting into a business. That's actually what I did. I took my love for helping others. I love to help other people, and I turned it into a business. And what's wrong with that? That's a very good thing. It takes energy and time to help other people. And I always share with my clients, if you don't have any groceries in your cupboard, you don't have any to give your neighbor. So a lot of us are trying to help people out of an empty cup, an empty cup. Number 3. Ooh. If an area in your life requires change, don't make an excuse why you can't or you don't want to. Just take action. If there's something in your life that you're not happy with, whether you're overweight or stuck in a dead end job or in the wrong relationship, don't wait to be rescued by any power outside of yourself. If you're caught up or stuck, do something about it to make it different. I love this guy. He's like right on board with me. Number 4. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're writing these things down. Number 4, get rid of that chip on your shoulder. Hoo, hoo, hoo. How many people do you know are walking around with a chip on their shoulder? They're looking for a fight. They're looking for an argument. They're looking for a way to bring you down. So if you have been victimized, which would include all of us, because as children, we have no way to defend ourselves, so we're victims, man. Don't victimize yourself a second time by wasting your time and energy fighting stupid fights with yourself. Oh, I never thought of it that way. That will only empower the person you're angry with and prevent you from living a happy life. Oh, ouch. I just got that. Oopsie. I guess, in other words, pick your battles, right? Pick your battles. Number 5. Oh, this is interesting. The skills for being successful in business are the same as the skills for being a successful person. Happiness in your life will bring you business success. I can connect with that because I know I used to think, wow, if I gave my personal life as much attention as I give my professional life, my personal life would have been a whole lot better. Well, that's a big one. Number 6. Learn as much as possible about whatever it takes to make you happy. Please don't limit yourself to one thing, he says. Diversify. Find out the reasons behind why some things make you happy. And then see if you can find those same elements in other kinds of situations, pursuits, or pastimes. You should have no shortage of things in your life that make you happy. Often, though, they'll be entirely different kinds of activities. So maybe I'm happy when I'm with my puppy, or I'm happy when I go for a walk in the park, or I'm happy when I go swimming, or I'm happy when I play a game of golf, or I'm happy when I'm playing my music. learn more about why those things make us happy. I love that. Oh, I actually said this morning myself. Number 7, never look back. See, if you are standing up and I said to you, okay, turn your head and look behind you. Now walk forward with your head looking behind you. How far do you think you'd get before you fell down? Once you learn that something is true, it is impossible to unlearn it. It's like no different than if you've seen a car crash, or you experienced somebody dying in your arms, or it's impossible to unsee things and unlearn things. So build upon what you know to be true, and don't waste time lamenting over things that could have been, should have been. It should have been different. I should never have had to go through that. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. So many people spend time in shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh my goodness sakes. Remembering we're broadcasting live right now on E360 TV and also on the YouTube channel, Laurie Davis show host. And by the way, as I take a little break, do you have a story to tell? Have you had some experiences that people really need to hear about in order to help them? Please contact me, because I love having those kinds of people on the show. And if you like what we're talking about and you want to call in, you can just dial this number, 825-420-2011, and we'll talk to you live. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good start, isn't it? 1 to 7. Number 8. Now, this might be a little bit of a mind bender. No one ever got rich by working 9 to 5. Because when you're working 9 to 5, you're actually making somebody else rich. I didn't, which is why I don't. Neither should you, unless you can honestly say that doing so brings you great amounts of joy. Wow. No one ever got rich or happy working 9 to 5. Number 9. I love this. Happiness is success, and success is happiness. If you're happy, then by definition, you're already successful. In my mind, these words are synonyms with each other. And that's another product we have. I just mentioned it, 21 Days to Happiness, Joy, and Inner Peace. And it helps us to move through and understand what happiness really is. And it's not something to be chased. It needs to be found here inside of us, not out there somewhere. But most people think it's out there. You know, if I have the right job, and if I have the right girlfriend, and if I have the right parents, and if I have the right income, if I have the right car, these things will all contribute to my happiness. But actually, that's false. And all you have to do is look at celebrities who have made millions of dollars, live in mansions, and they find them hanging on a rope in their closet. Seriously? When you're totally happy and love who you are, you won't do anything like that to hurt yourself. See, so it's an inside job. Oh, I love this one. Getting to know yourself. Identify what you want. Stop being trapped by living the life that you've ended up with. And as I explain to my clients when I meet them, you're not the person. You're the person who's carved your life out of your situations. The real person is who you are when you came here. So it's inside of you. And we have all that, but it's maybe covered up with cobwebs and such. Stop being trapped by living the life that you've ended up with. If you're fed up with how much time you're spending at work, or you're not happy in your relationship, the only person who's going to help you prioritize your time is you. I used to let people walk all over me. That's because I was a people pleaser. And what you thought of me meant everything. I spent so much time and energy getting approval, particularly from my parents and my family. So, for example, if my family was and my parents were coming over for a meal, it would take me like 3 weeks to get ready because I would want everything to be perfect so they wouldn't judge me. I'm happy to say that today that is not the case. And my friends and family know that what you see is what you get. We have fancy times and we have not so fancy times, depending on the situation. But I no longer do that to get somebody's approval. And if you've ever been there, maybe you need to give us a call and tell us about it. You can call us by dialing 825-420-2011. And we could take the call and you could share with us, you know, how much time and energy have you spent getting the approval of other people? You know what? I spent so much time on that. I could have had another $1 million business on the side for the energy that took. Number 11, be flexible. I learned this a long time ago. Whatever plans you make, just know that things can happen to interrupt those plans, and it's okay. Challenge and change can come from embracing the unexpected. It's often better to shift directions when you realize it won't take you where you want to go than continue on the same bad route where you know it's going to end. So, we can be on two paths. We can be on that bad path and we know it's a bad path and only heartache and sorrow and tragedy are going to come of it. Or we take the path that we know supports us, loves us, counts on us, helps us to be our better self, bringing the best out in each other, helping each other. That's what life is all about. Number 12. This is pretty interesting. Rich says, worry is a waste of time, a wasted emotion. Sometimes you don't have control over how you're feeling, but worrying about a situation accomplishes and changes nothing. And it also doesn't enable you to change your circumstances. It makes that bad thing that you're worrying about more likely to happen and continue to happen. So when I'm working with my clients, a lot of times they're concerned about changing their behavior. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop smoking. I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better partner. What I like to do is I reverse that and go, okay, so why are you drinking? Why are you drugging? Why are you not a good mom? And why are you not happy? Because only when we can discover our why can we change things. We need to know the why. And once we discover the why, wow, the sky's the limit. You can go anywhere, do anything, be anything. Otherwise, we just keep redoing the same old thing over and over. And we've heard if we keep doing the same thing over and over and expect new results, well, that's insanity. That'd drive you nuts. Oh, I love number 13. Follow your passions and make sure that your passions constantly evolve as you grow and evolve. And maybe your passions are things like music. Maybe you're passionate about sports. Maybe you're passionate about cooking. I love to cook. Maybe you're passionate about your work, but follow them because that's what helps us to evolve and grow. And I've had clients say to me, Laurie, I have no idea what I'm passionate about, or I don't know what is my purpose, and I don't even know why I'm here. Well, I say to them, you're here. And I share this with my clients all the time. The fact that you're here is a miracle because the chances of you being here are so remote. And we came with gifts and talents. It's all there. Number 14. You are not doing anything in your life right now that you don't want to be doing. And this is what Rich says about this. Each of us has the potential inside right now to change anything about our lives that we don't like. If you don't have a partner and you want one, only you have the power to tell yourself, I'm tired of being single and I'm going to make a change. If you're lonely, only you can get out there and search for challenging friends. If you're poor, only you can take the initiative to figure out a way to change your situation. So basically, we are in the driver's seat. Only us, only we can make those changes. Nobody else can go to the bathroom for us. Only we can go to the bathroom for ourselves. So that's what makes change so much fun. I tell my clients all the time, change is fun. It can be fun. Like, bring it on. Because if I'm not happy with the way things are in this situation, how can I change that to make it more fun? Change doesn't have to be hard and laborious and sad. And no, change can be way more than that. And that's why I love helping people to make changes in their lives because it's fun. It's worthy of you. It's everything that we need to do. Number 15. If you have a problem, and I don't like the word problem, I like the word situation. If you have a situation or there's something about yourself you don't like, first you have to acknowledge that you want to be that way. Then ask yourself why. I have to repeat that because I didn't quite get it myself. If you have a situation or if there's something about yourself you don't like, first acknowledge that you want to be that way, then ask yourself why. So, Rich says, when I weighed 360 pounds, I first had to recognize that I wanted to be fat. Then I asked myself, why do I want to be fat? What was it about myself that I didn't like that I had to abuse my body in that way? Asking ourselves these types of questions will help us understand the real issues behind the problems and help us change. So I say to my clients, any of my clients who are struggling with addictions, I always say we have to look at why we're drinking, why we're doing drugs, why we're having promiscuous sex, why. We didn't come into the world with those belief systems, but those belief systems get entrenched when we've been through certain situations. So if there's something going on in your life that you're not happy with, ask yourself, why is that? Maybe I don't have any boundaries. Maybe I don't know how to express myself. Maybe I don't think I deserve anything that's worthy and good. Yeah. Do you know that the greatest study, and I've read thousands of books and I'm educated and blah, 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 but do you know that my greatest study has been me? Learning as much as I possibly can about Laurie. And the more I learn about Laurie, the clearer and the more peaceful and the easier life becomes. See, a lot of people don't want to go there. I've had people say, well, I'd love to come and take one of your workshops, but I just don't really want to go there. I don't want to go there. Well, good luck with that. How can we change anything if we're not willing to go there? It doesn't make any sense. We have to be willing to go there. And a lot of people just don't want to. If you want to give us a call, please dial in at 825-420-2011. Today I'm reviewing and looking at the very first guy who won the competition in the television show Survivor in the year 2000, Rich Hatch. He was in the bush for 39 days with other people, and he did some pretty crazy stuff. But his book is 101 Survival Secrets. How to make $1 million, lose 100 pounds, and just plain live happily. So today is Wellness Wednesday, and that's what we're talking about. How to be well. Being well is not just being healthy physically, like you eat right and you get your exercise. That's just one aspect of wellness. Wellness is way more than that. It's to be well emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. Number 16. Hope you're taking notes today. We have some viewers on board today. Number 16, question yourself and enjoy questioning yourself. Be open to new and surprising answers that will come from listening to and continuing to develop your own unique ideas. That's how I started my business. I started questioning myself. Why didn't I have any self-worth? I could look it, I could talk it, I could be that on the outside, but on the inside, I didn't feel it. So there was always this internal conflict going on of, putting myself out there and feeling good in one sense, but on the inside, I never felt totally like I belonged. I'd walk into a room full of people that I had done the work to be there. I deserved the recognition I was going to get, but on the inside, I didn't feel like I belonged there. I don't know how many of you have felt that way, but it's like we're out of our zone, we don't feel good in our own skin. And I just was like, I would get very nervous and anxious and think, oh, I don't want to go to that dinner and get that award because I don't really. And it was all craziness. It was all lies. Number 17. I love this one. As long as you know who you are, it doesn't matter what other people think. You think? If you're down to earth, well grounded, and know realistically who you are, other people's perceptions of you will never interfere with how you want to live your life. So let's put it this way. I have a perfect example. Many years ago in 1984, I decided to leave my great job of teaching school. I was the vice principal of my school and doing very well, making good money, had my own home, blah, blah. And I decided that I wanted to leave the profession. Well, let me tell you how many people had an opinion on that. What are you doing? What about your pension? How are you going to pay your mortgage? What are you going to be doing to earn a living? You can't leave. You're moving up in the system. Oh my goodness. If I had listened to those people, which were well-intentioned people who cared about me and who were worried about me, and they didn't want me to make a mistake and they didn't want me to do the wrong thing, I went, well, I don't want to teach school anymore. I don't like the system anymore. I don't like what's going on anymore. I need to leave. And people were devastated because they couldn't picture leaving themselves. And that's what it was really all about. It wasn't about me. It was about me saying, well, I'm leaving, and which caused a problem because they couldn't leave or didn't want to leave, and so it caused a challenge for them to think about, well, maybe I'd like to leave. Maybe I'd like to leave too. You know, people have all kinds of advice. Well, you shouldn't marry that person, or you shouldn't, you don't want to do that for a living. And why would you feel, you should feel this way? Well, nobody can tell us how we should feel. We have a right to our own feelings and how we feel about things. And sometimes that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. They don't want to hear about it because that makes them uncomfortable. They cannot express themselves. Oh, I love number 18. This is my whole gig. This is my whole thing. If you don't love yourself, continue to change until you do. But I know for a fact that love is a matter of a decision. I decide that. I decide to love myself. Seek out your character flaws, what you see as flaws. I'm not very good looking. I'm not confident. Um, I'm not very ambitious. Whatever those are, and fix them. If there's something about you you don't like, you're the only person that can do anything about it. You know, someone could judge you till the cows come home, but that's not going to change anything for us. We have to acknowledge it ourselves. The result of learning to love myself is that you're much more likely and much more able to change what you don't like about yourself. So I have learned to love me unconditionally, no strings attached. So if I make a mistake or I don't do the right thing, or people think I'm a whack job, or it doesn't really matter anymore, because I know in my heart and in my soul and in my head, I'm a very good person, even though a lot of people might want to think I'm not, or they've tried to make me not look like a good person, or they've made comments, or yeah, well, I'm sorry. You know what? I've been a good person since the day I was born. I came that way. That's how I was born. It's in my DNA. Isn't this fun? I love this book. 101, it's an old book. Let me see, when was it printed? He was the #1 survivor. Oh, 2000. He wrote the book in 2000. The book is 23 years old. Oh my. It's still current though, isn't it? In my world, it's still current. Number 19, balance all of your needs. Those 4 things, the medicine wheel: emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, balance it. Prioritize the things that you want from your life and the things that are filling up your day. Oh my. To organize your life in a way that maximizes the level of happiness that you can experience, you need to understand where you're spending your time. What's going on? Who's stealing it from you? And what level of effort are you giving to change that? Oh my gosh, I just have a personal example about that. About 3 weeks ago, my Facebook page got really hacked. Somebody got in there and they were sending messages, and I have thousands of followers and friends, and they contacted all of my contacts and pretended to be me, and they were asking people for money. And that was coming from me, which was not coming from me. And it wasn't until that happened and I separated myself from Facebook for about 3 weeks that I realized how much time I was actually spending there. I was spending enough time on Facebook that I could make like 10 business calls and be earning more money, or making more connections, or opening the doors for others to benefit from what we do. I couldn't believe how much time I spent on that phone. It scared me to heck, all heck. It was out of balance. It was out of balance. So now I time myself. I can have a half an hour on Facebook and then I'm done. Because you know how you can get in there and you're just scrolling and you're copying down recipes and you're connecting with people you don't even know, and like, wow, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's just one app, one platform. We have other platforms that we can hook into. I don't mean to sound like a preacher, like I'm on a soapbox, but I couldn't believe it. You know what? It had to be taken away from me for me to get that. And sometimes that happens in life. Something has to be taken away from us before we actually get it. Number 20, self-awareness is the most important catalyst for change. If we're not aware of who we are or what our potential is, then we don't have the tools to recognize how to change. Like, a lot of people will tell me, I really want to change, I want to be different, I want to make my life better. But they don't really know how to do that because they're in denial still about the fact that maybe they're an addict, or maybe they are incompetent or insecure, or they lack their self-worth. We have to be able to acknowledge those things before we can make a change. So self-awareness is the most important catalyst for change. You need to know who you are. And it's very difficult sometimes to know that because we've been separated from who we are since birth because of situations that have occurred. And so we might not even know who we are. We just think we know who we are. Oh, I love this one. Number 21, health and fitness. Rich says, diets don't work, they're stupid. That's the title. A diet is only as good as the person who is in it. Forget Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers. Forget low-fat, high-carb milkshakes. Starving yourself won't make you happy or wealthy or fit. Only when you have a positive mindset, when you've decided you're ready to lose weight and become more physically fit, will you be able to shed those excess pounds and then learn to maintain your fitness and health. In other words, it's a decision. It's an inside job, just like the other things we've talked about. I love that. Number 22, being fit and losing weight is a product of being happy. Those aren't the things that are going to make you happy. You know, people say things like, well, I'll be happy when the kids have graduated from high school. I'll be happy when I lose 50 pounds. I'll be happy when I have more money in the bank. No. And he says, I'm not talking about a facade of fitness that's really just skinniness or high school girls looking like Miss Twiggy. Some of the least healthy people I've known are thin. If you can figure out the things that give you joy in your life and seek them wholeheartedly, if you like to write poetry, if you like to play an instrument, if you like to paint, these are the things that give us joy. We will do what's needed to prevent our body from being slowed or clogged. See, because we want the stamina to do the things that we love to do. So if I want to walk up a mountain and put my painting easel up and paint the picture of the valley, I need to be physically fit to do that. So we need to get passionate about what brings us joy. So what brings you joy? Well, I know what brings me joy. Cooking, helping others, supporting our elders, supporting children and our young people, mentoring them, These are all things that bring me joy. So I do everything to pursue that. I'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to meet up with a client if I have to. There's no, oh, sorry, can't see you till noon because I sleep until noon. No, that's not joyful. That's stealing from us, stealing our time. This is a good one for me to remember, number 23, because this one's all around health. Reduce the amount of bread, potatoes, pasta, and sugar in your diet. Since limiting these foods, I've gained energy and feel more alive and aware than ever before in my life. I get most of my carbs from salads, fruits, and vegetables, which I consume in large quantities. Wow, it's an energy booster. Energy booster. Number 24. Do not drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, or take drugs. These substances are dulling your senses and contribute to a delusional way of looking at life. We've been indoctrinated in this society to believe that having a beer or smoking a joint is a good way to relax, that having some wine with dinner or a cigarette at a party is sophisticated and appropriate. I don't know what the long-term effects are or what else these substances are doing to your body, but why not become and remain as aware as you possibly can? Alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs numb us to challenge and make it hard to change. You can become more involved with everything around you and have a deeper, more satisfying sensation and experience without these substances. Wow, that's big. That is big. But so many people have a hard time letting go of those addictions because of why we're taking the drugs or drinking the alcohol. Number 25. Remember, he weighed 360 pounds. And he says, for me, being fat sucked. Just look at the photos of me in this book. I was almost 400 pounds at my heaviest. Do I look healthy and happy to you? If you compare the pictures of how I used to look with my cover photo, and you're not convinced, then you should look again. Being overweight creates unhappiness, and it is a question of choice. Most overweight people are not happy, and they have made a decision, consciously or unconsciously, to remain fat. But just like being overweight is a choice, you can also choose to examine what's going on in your head that's causing you to eat the way you eat or to live a sedentary lifestyle. Wow. Everything is a decision, eh? To love myself is a decision. To forgive others is a decision. To let the past go is a decision. These are not things that take forever, but they're decisions. Wow. I just lost 30 pounds myself this past 2 years. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want to do more. And I didn't even work at it. The first one was I just increased my movement because we were moving and there was so much to do. And then last year I had a brush with cancer and that affected my appetite and that caused me to lose some more weight. Maybe not a good way to lose, but it came off and it stayed off. And now I'm choosing to work on it by walking my dog around the park every morning and watch what I take in. And I've cut out sugar. I wasn't a sweet addict anyway, but sugar is really bad for us and hard on our digestive system and so on. So yeah, conscious decisions. Conscious decisions. All right, well, I think I'll end there because that's the end of his health and wellness chapter. And the next chapter is about risk-taking and challenges. And I just love the way he put this together. And it's just short little blurbs, number 25, number 26. I'm sure the book would probably still be for sale on Amazon. I'm always busy promoting other people's work if I know that it fits with mine. And so this is one that really does. And, he talks about also in his book not only being that superstar when Survivor first came out, but the before, during, and then the aftermath of winning that $1 million and the problems and challenges it brought to his life. So a lot of times we think, oh, if I just had enough money, that would solve everything. But not necessarily so, because money can bring problems to us as well. And he actually attended West Point Academy, the military training, and he's a pretty interesting guy, and he's had quite the journey too. So that would be Rich Hatch, and when I have an opportunity to share more with you from him, I certainly will do that. So first of all, thank you for being here. We had some viewers today. We're streaming live. If you have the YouTube app on your television, I learned yesterday from my young man who's here that I'm working with. He said, well, we can watch that on the television, Laurie. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that. And I have a YouTube app on even my older TV and brought it up last night so Ron could see, yeah, we're on TV, all right. There's my channel, YouTube, and the handle is Laurie Davis Show Host. We're also streaming live right now on E360 TV, which is the network that takes care of us and has taken such good care of me the last 2 years. We're just starting season 5, and so we're looking forward to adding some features to the show, like having you call in if you feel up to it and you want to make a comment or ask a question of one of our guests, because we do have guests, or me asking me a question. And you bing bada bing bada boom, you're on the show with us and people can hear you as well. If you have a story to tell, do you have a story? Well, let's get you on here and talk about your story. Because one thing I know about stories for sure, and I use a lot of storytelling in my work, stories inspire other people. And when you hear someone else's story about how they got through something or they survived something, it just makes it easier for us to go after it too, because if they did it, we can do it. That's all I can say about that. And if you wish to contact me directly, you can call or text 566-2340. That's 780-566-2340. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. The Dr. Laurie Davis Show. I'm your host, and we look forward to a smashing season 5 with lots of support and calls and subject matter and guests, and it's just so much fun. Some sponsors coming on board, and I'm excited about that. So thank you for listening. I know I can go on and on and on and on, but for me to talk for an hour is a no-brainer after all these years, of course, in the field and all the work I've done. So just hope there was something in there today from Rich that inspired you. And again, another example of someone who overcame huge obstacles to achieve their goals. And that would be no small feat, to be on that deserted island for 39 days and come out the winner. So thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye for now, and have a great rest of the day.